Hey English learners, have you ever wondered how to make comparisons with irregular adjectives in English? Well, in today's lesson, we are going to talk about how to make comparisons with irregular adjectives in English. The very first question you're going to ask is, what is an irregular adjective? Yes, I was expecting that question. What is an irregular adjective? Now, when we talk about irregular adjectives, we are talking about those adjectives that they don't take the regular er or es to the end to change to compare with two things. Irregular adjectives change completely. They don't follow the normal rule of es or er. Now, talking about these irregular adjectives, we are going to dwell on three main irregular adjectives or three commonly used irregular adjectives in English. And these irregular adjectives are good, bad, far. I'll take that again. Good, bad, far. So we are going to be talking about good, bad, far in the comparative form and the superlative form. Now, the very first one is good. What is the comparative form of good? The comparative form of good is better. How do we get that? Now, when you want to compare two things, remember I said comparative adjectives are adjectives that compare two things. When you want to compare two things using the irregular adjective, we don't use the regular er or es. So if you're talking about good, you want to talk about compare two things or two persons with the adjective good, you don't say he is gooder than him or she is gooder than him. No, we don't add er because it is irregular adjective. So what we need to do is you have to change the form of the adjective from good to better. For example, she is better than me. She is better than her sister. That is for comparative adjective. Now, what about superlative adjective? How do we form the superlative adjective with good? What is the superlative form of good? The superlative form of good is best or the best. The best. For example, my daughter is the best in class. I cannot say my daughter is the goodest in class. No, because good is an irregular adjective. So I would rather say my daughter is the best in her class. The second irregular adjective is bad. How do we form or how do we compare with bad? The comparative form of bad is worse. I'll say that again. The comparative form of bad is worse. So instead of saying he is better than his brother, you rather say he is worse than his brother. So that's so easy. Example sentence. Today's weather is worse than yesterday's. So you see that we cannot say today's weather is better than yesterday. No, we cannot say that. You must use worse because it's an irregular adjective. Now, the second part is the superlative. Superlative, how do we form, what is the superlative form of bad? The superlative form of bad is worst. Take note, worst. Comparative is worse. Superlative is worst. Take note of the difference. One ends with an E, another ends with a T. How then do we use it in a sentence? This is the worst food I've ever eaten. Now, we cannot say this is the baddest food I've ever eaten. No, it doesn't go like that. This is the worst food I've ever eaten. Worst with a T. So that's just as simple as that. All you need to do is just know the comparative form, just know what it is. Know the word. When you know the word, it becomes very easy. And that takes us to the last one, which is far. The last irregular adjective, which is far. How do we form a comparative or superlative adjective with far? Now, talking about far, remember, far talks about the distance. The comparative form of far is farther or further. These are all accepted. They are all used, but you can choose one that you want to use and be regular with it. For example, my school is farther than yours. Or my school is farther than yours. Superlative adjective of far is farthest or farthest. For example, this is the farthest I've ever traveled. This is the farthest I've ever traveled. So that's just that. Very easy, right? Okay, so now we are going to practice. Let's practice. I will say a sentence and you think of the correct answer. You can still drop the correct answer in the comment section. Okay. She is good singer in the band. What's the correct sentence? Okay. She is the best singer in the band. She is the best singer in the band. His last test was bad than the first one. What's the correct answer? Okay. His last test was worse than the first one. His last test was worse than the first one. Well done. We have just learned the 3 irregular adjectives using to make comparisons. And we talked about good, bad, far. We also mentioned that you don't use ER or EST to these adjectives because they are irregular. So if you found this video helpful, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give me thumbs up, share with your friends so that they can learn, and also click on the notification bell if you haven't, so that whenever I post a video, you'll be the very first person to be notified. Hey, and there is good news. I now have a community on YouTube. Please don't hesitate to click on the join button. If you look down there, you will see the join button. Click on the join button and join my community. Let's build this community together. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for always supporting my channel. Thank you and see you in my next video. Bye.